coming out of the start for the mile.
And it looks a bit tactical at this moment, but look at him driving with his arms and getting those legs of his moving.
There's an unknown runner in the race. Coming down and straightening up now, and they can see the finish.
We are here in Wiltshire, in the heart of the English countryside, at the top of the famous Westbury White Horse Hill. The White Horse itself was created as part of the Anglo-Saxon memorial in the 1700s. Sitting atop an Iron Age fort, it looks out across the surrounding area and is a popular attraction for visitors.
But more importantly, and possibly what this hill is more famous for, is that this was the early training ground of none other than Sam Pickter.
That's right, because I grew up in the village of Marten at the bottom of this hill, which meant that every training run I did was a long run from the bottom up to the top. It's fair to say I've run up this hill hundreds of times in my life, but today we are going to attempt a run that I have never done before.
Oh yes, see, this hill is about a mile long, so naturally we are going to try and run down it as fast as we can in 4 minutes. That's right, 4 minutes for 1 mile. A 4-minute mile. Simple.
Well, you say simple, but actually I think this is going to be very tricky. In fact, I'm not quite sure it's going to be possible for either of us to break the 4-minute mile today, but we'll give it a go. I am more nervous about this than any of the challenges we've done before. The downhill mile is nothing new, but it is to me.
Certainly is for me, yeah.
So shall we take a look at the hill?
Let's do it. Well, the hill leads down from the Westbury White Horse to the village of Bratton with an elevation loss of 394 feet or 120 metres, an average gradient of 9.2%. The descent is smooth tarmac underfoot and exactly 1 mile from the car park at the top of the road junction down to the bottom. Unfortunately though, because the actual hill is only 1,300 metres, our first 300 metres will be on the flat before we start the descent. Now the target is to get as close to 4 minutes as possible and, well, maybe even under. Obviously the pace is 4 minutes per mile, which is 19 miles per hour, or in kilometres that's 2 minutes and 29 seconds per kilometre for 1.6 kilometres or 24 kilometres per hour.
All right, you didn't think I was going to let the boys have all the fun, did you? No, I am here, although I'm probably here to spectate and just kind of explain exactly what these crazy guys are up to. Well, I'm on the course right now and they will be starting about 300 metres behind me. It's a little bit potholey and it's fairly flat to start with. So they're going to be off to a relatively slow start, but then the hill will start to drop down and that's where it's going to get steep and fast. The descent is starting to drop away quite dramatically now. It's going to reach 13%, and this is where the boys will feel that assistance from the gravity and their legs are going to start really spinning round. And I have to say, you get some really wonderful views on either side, although I'm not sure they'll be appreciating them quite as much as I am. So with the steepest section behind them, this is where it's time for the boys to start to find their rhythm. The average of the rest of the hill is at 9%, and they'll have a chance to check to see if they're on pace to get under that 4-minute mile. All right, as we get close to the bottom, you can see the gradient really starts to level out here, and it's going to be those final few hundred metres that are going to make the difference. Once the boys reach the houses, they know it's basically 100 to go until the junction and the finish line.
I mean, Mark, did you know that before Roger Bannister ran the 4-minute mile, everyone thought that his lungs were just going to explode when he went below that mark?
I think our knees are going to explode.
Well, that could be true, and I think I know what they were talking about.
Oh, what are you guys worrying about? I mean, I have just walked that and I think you're slightly mad, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you could be right. I mean, I don't know how we're going to do it. I think the biggest challenge is just going to get our legs turning over fast enough so we can hit the pace, let alone for 4 minutes. I mean...
And hopefully not face plant. Now, that brings me nicely on to a bit of background on the 4-minute mile.
And while you do that, I'm going to go and warm up.
I think Oh, that sounds like a good idea. I think I'll join you on that.
No, I mean, you know, a proper warm-up, not a GTN one where we just chat and jog along. So I'll leave you there.
You might need it. Right, we'll pick up from here then. Now, remember, we're not talking about a flat 4-minute mile effort. That clearly would be beyond the reach, even for these guys. Instead, we're talking about a downhill mile where they use gravity to give them the extra nudge. And it really does make a significant difference. In 1983, Mike Boit set the world record for the fastest downhill mile of 3:27, 16 seconds faster than the flat world record of 3:43. This was further lowered 10 years later in 1993 to a time of 3:24 set by Craig Wheeler in the UK, making it a whopping 19 seconds faster than the flat mile world record. So overall, the element can have a massive impact, but will it be enough to help them break 4 minutes?
Coming out of the start for the mile.
And it looks a bit tactical at this moment. But look at him driving with his arms and getting those legs of his moving.
On. They are going seriously fast. Although I did notice that Mark had a slight lead there, so I think he could be our best bet at 4 minutes. But I'm dying to find out how they get on, so I've got some catching up to do. Wait.
Coming down and straightening up now, and they can see the finish.
Mate. Yeah, well done. Right, I'm sure you guys are eager to hear the scores on the door. So come on, Sam, what was your time?
Okay, I ran down 1 mile in 4 minutes 24.
That is really good going.
Yeah, I didn't feel great at all, and that was compounded as I saw you run away from me because you did it in a time of
4:07, which is agonisingly close to the 4-minute mile.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, I could get the excuses in early on.
Yeah,
it's a very
start.
cold day. We did have a headwind, and we did have to run along the flat at the start.
Yeah, so as you know, we started on the flat bit, it was about 300, 400 metres. There was a headwind and it was cold, which definitely adds to it. I had the weirdest, I sort of had a splitting headache after, just as we started the descent really, and I don't know what it was, but it was cold wind. It is 0 degrees at the moment, so it could have been part of that or just sudden big effort, but that didn't help. And then we got into the descent and, I mean, my legs were really turning over fast and I could just see your longer stride, which seemed to work for you. And then you just sort of pulled away from me as we got about halfway down.
I've got to say, I mean, I'd be interested if I did this again, because I don't want to say holding back. I was really anxious at the start that I was going to let myself get carried away and face plant. Like from that though, coming into the end of the mile and it starts to flatten out again, it was such an odd sensation not having gravity pushing me, and then I was suddenly having to use my legs to support myself and push myself forwards, and I did feel myself almost buckle a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know what? This has, I mean, I've always respected the 4 minute, sub 4 minute mile, but this is just compounded that even more because we just had gravity assisting us all the way down here. I was going flat out and didn't even manage to go under 4 minutes. And people do that on the flat and a lot faster.
And I wonder, with a bit more speed work, but also specific to this, could we train specifically to run down the hill fast, get the right sort of strength? Could we come back?
I like where you're going with this.
And a better hill maybe, like without the flat bit at the top, maybe a bit steeper.
Oh, maybe a summer attempt in the warmth.
I could be tempted.
Okay, I like it. Well, I want to say don't try this at home, but if you are well trained, go give it a crack. This has been a great laugh today, and yeah, see if you can beat our times. If you have enjoyed today's video, please do give it a like, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to give us a follow over on social media. And if you want to see more silly and crazy challenges like this, give us a subscribe just down below.